Om Shanti, everyone. Welcome to your next normal. I'm your host, Sister Jenna. You must be feeling my excitement today because I have two of the very, very special instruments of the Brahma Kumaris. And before we get to really going into a deep dive with them, it fascinates me how spiritual wisdom can transform someone's life. To be able to open up your spirit to wisdom, to something different. And what I've learned on my own journey is I'm still the same person, but mentally no. My two eyes are seeing the same tree, and where I would just see a tree with green leaves, spirituality awakened, I start to recognize the seed that grew that tree. We're going to have a conversation today about a relationship with God. How do we make this connection? Many of you know we call God Baba here in the Brahma Kumaris, but what is this connection with the divine? How do we stay connected to Source so that we feel protected, safe, loved, charitable, peaceful, pure? My two special guests today is Brother Ken O'Donnell from the Brahma Kumaris, who's the regional head of the Latin America corridor, and his number one right arm, Sister Luciana, who is the coordinator of Brazil. They're with us today in studio to have a spiritual conversation on the divine. Welcome, guys. I'm so glad that you could make it. You don't know how happy I am that you guys are in Washington. First, let me touch you, see if it's real. It's real. So I want us to spend this time. Everybody who watches Next Normal, they know where I'm a Brahma Kumaris. They know that perhaps I offer a lot of practical tools in how to integrate spirituality. Both of you are very knowledgeable and wise on the journey. And what's been happening for me is the desire to go deeper into my relationship with God. Not a religious God, a spiritual one, the one that's for everyone. Tell us a little bit about how you found out. How did you realize the supreme power? And then, Brother Ken, if you can share that after Luciana.
Yes, for me, God was not a search. In fact, I was very much interested in spirituality since my young age, but I was not looking for God. Probably because the understanding that I had about God was not interesting me. First, it was understanding of God being like a person, because I come from Catholic family, so to identify God with a person was something that didn't feel to me that it was universal, that it felt that, it was some great thing. Mm-hmm. And second, when I started my search with the age about 18, I came to this concept of God being omnipresent, just like an energy which had not definition. It was just like a over-spreading energy, and that also didn't really touch that experience that I could have a relationship with him. So when I came to Brahma Kumaris and I understood that he was a living soul and I could have this experience with him, it made a lot of sense, because I could experience, first of all, his qualities. And these qualities were much powerful than any human quality. And second, I could use this relationship to heal so many of my internal traumas. Like if anything had not gone well with my mother or with my father, or not a nice remembrance of school days and so on, I could rephrase this relationship and this experience with a new experience with God. So it made a lot of difference in my life.
That's why I think that having a kind of a guide or information or knowledge as to the how to do it is so important. I've seen through various religions, you're just told sit, knee, pray, bow, give this, but there's no information how. Brother Ken, how did you recognize the supreme power?
I used to practice Raj Yoga or Patanjali, and in that, the object of meditation can be anything. So you can be in front of a rock, in front of a tree, in front of the ocean, and what you do is you focus, concentrate, and you try to become one with that. I was breaking my head, you know, how can I become one with a rock or a tree? So when I came to Brahma Kumaris, I was so happy that the object of the meditation was God Himself, not a rock, not a tree, not anything physical, but something beyond here. And I had an idea that, yes, that makes sense. But to be able to remember, because then I learned that meditation is actually remembering rather than, you know, concentrating, just trying to make the mind blank. But I remember that one. So, and that one is a lot of importance for me. When I discovered that that was the one that I was looking for, made a lot of sense. That was the benevolent one. So I remember, and I start to experience that benevolence.
Yeah, yeah.
And first when we opened our center, retreat center in upstate New York, in Peace Village, one of the first retreats was one that they asked me to do. It was in English. Sorry.
It's okay.
And it was there was a woman there, and it gives you an idea of my feelings towards God. And she'd been a victim of the Holocaust. She was a very old woman. She was a little kid at the time, and she said all of her family were massacred. Mother, father, brothers and sisters, uncles and aunties. She was the only one that was left. And she said, how can I believe in a God who allows that to happen?
Mm-hmm.
I said, I also don't believe in such a God. But let me tell you, and I remember, because she's from the Jewish tradition, I asked her if she remembered the 23rd Psalm. And that's the sort of God that I'd like to get close to, that I could remember. And that psalm says, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, and whatever happens to me, you'll be always with me, you'll be guiding me through all of the difficulties. I'm paraphrasing here.
Yeah.
But I told her that's the God that I believe in, the one that helps us, the one that is there for us, the one that. And so if I remember that, it's much easier than to try to become one with a rock or a tree. That one, I mean, I didn't have an idea exactly until I learnt Raj Yoga with the Brahma Kumaris.
Yeah.
In which I learnt that God is actually a being.
Yeah.
Very similar to me. The difference is not in my deepest qualities. I have peace, love, happiness. These are my innate qualities. But that quality of the deepest love and peace and happiness that I have is the same as God's love and peace and happiness. The difference is quantity. He's unlimited, I'm not exactly unlimited. But to remember that there is that one I can connect with, I can remember, above and beyond anything that's going on around me, wherever I am, whoever I'm with, in whatever situation I am, I can remember. It's very convenient, very easy. You don't have to, you don't have to go somewhere. You don't have to speak to someone. You can just remember.
And that's why I think we need an understanding of this remembrance. And before we go further deep, in very few words, what does God feel like to you? I remember I'd asked Oprah this question, and she was like, Ah, that's a good question. Let me think about it. So, what does God feel like to you? Isn't that a great question?
There were moments in my life that this very intimate relationship with God felt as if He was like my partner, my companion, and I even had that experience of a kind of romantic relationship with God, because it was as if He was fulfilling my deepest needs. Especially because I started my spiritual search in a young age. So there was that feeling that I wanted like a companion or a relationship in my life. So to be able to experiment this with God, it was just like some fulfilling experience. So I think that this is the main thing. But also, I think that there is another experience that I cherish very much, that it is to have God as my guide. Because we live in a uncertain world, and so many situations and so many doubts and so many moments that you have to take a decision. So, to ask yourself how God would do in this situation, how God would behave in such a moment.
Beautiful.
So God as a guide for me has been like a point of kind of certainty and security, so that many people looking at me, they say, you seem to be like a person with decision and certainty, and I think that is because
you do have that
of
for
the
sure.
relationship. Yeah.
So, what does it feel like? When you go into meditation in Raj Yoga, what does it feel like? I can only say for myself, sometimes, of course, it's various feelings: peace, love, power. But one thing that stands out, it's like a wave, that there's a vibrational frequency that kind of comes into the soul. It feels like a wave of subtle love and power that my ego will never be able to identify what it's doing to me. What does it feel like to you?
Definitely, there are many different experiences. I cannot say that it's the same every time or every day, but I might say that the experience that I like the most, let us say, it is when I feel I lose my small identity. It is just like an experience of being connected with everything and everyone, though I know that everything has their own identity.
I love that.
But this is just like dissolving, and the experience is that you are merged.
I love that.
So
Love that.
this experience I like very much, because it is an experience, first of all, that all fears disappear.
Yes, yes.
Because it is just like that experience of being in that togetherness with everything, and whatever happens to you, you know that it would be
It's going
for
to be
the
okay.
good.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful answer. Brother Ken, how does God feel to you?
There are two things. I think one of them is His quality, especially the quality of love. And I know that the way I love Him and the way He loves me should be distributed in the world as well, because the way He loves me and the way I love Him should come together. So first of all, that's the first sensation I can imagine. I feel
then.
that my love, and of course all of the search that I'd been, whatever we've been searching for, we didn't know it, but when we were searching for truth and beauty and justice and harmony and everything, we were actually searching for God.
Absolutely.
And
I love that.
we didn't know it. We didn't realize. We thought we'd find that in someone else or in something else. But in fact, when you get to the understanding that that was the one, he was the one, or she, or you could say she too, why he.
Yeah. I was just about to mention that. Some people say, why him? Why isn't God a she?
It's the mother. You can't say it. That sounds strange, but
Kind of feel disrespectful. Hey, it.
it. But as the one, right, who is the source for all of the religions actually, and everyone or the other, whatever they've been searching for deeply, actually was somehow angling them towards that one. So I realized that I'm in front of the one that I had been searching for many births. That's the first thing. And the reason was the love.
Yeah.
The soul is missing that love. And then the second one is the incorporeal experience, the feeling of being beyond.
Yeah.
So when even words are dissolved, where concepts fall away, and you are just a naked, completely incorporeal soul in front of the incorporeal Supreme Soul, totally beyond any context here, totally beyond all of the little stories of the ego and all of the involvements that you have in this physical world. That's the feeling that I have, being completely incorporeal.
I think one of the things as Brahma Kumaris students and teachers, and I think I could speak for all of us, when you experience that energy in you, it changes you forever. And there's a feeling like, I want my friends, I want my brothers and sisters, whether I know them or not, how to make this connection so they can be free of the suffering. It is just a drive in many of us, as instruments. And there are some folks, like the lady that you met in Peace Village, who lost their whole family in the Holocaust. My mom, Sister Gita, who was a beautiful instrument of the Brahma Kumaris, when she was orphaned at 9 because her mother passed away at the Kendal train crash, she blamed God for that. And she went for a search as well. What do you tell people, Brother Ken and Sister Luciana? Where was God when such and such a thing happened to my child? Where was God when the Holocaust happened? Where is God when Gaza is going under this? Or where is God with Ukraine and Russia right now? Where is God? You tell me. Where is this God that you just said is so loving?
What I understand is that there are an independent human play happening on this earth. And whatever we are living today is the result of our collective actions. So the Holocaust or Gaza or any other things are the consequence of the bad decisions of human beings. The decisions made by ego, made by limitation, made by authority, like limited power. So whatever we see, it's not a creation of God. And God uses His spiritual knowledge, God uses His spiritual power, God uses His spiritual love to be able to awaken us so that we can become instruments to change whatever we are seeing in the world. Mm-hmm. God cannot interfere in the play of human beings because God can just offer us the material for our transformation, our change. And then we are able to influence or to do the positive changes that we want to see in the world. So it is just like two different dimensions.
Yeah.
So God, being incorporeal, He cannot do His work directly, but He can do it through human beings. It's a little bit like the sun is shining, but I am inside of the house with all the windows and doors and curtains closed, and then I say, oh, the sun is not shining, So God depends that we open up
Beautiful.
curtain of our consciousness to allow him to work on us.
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful. That is powerful. Brother Ken, why all the suffering?
If you go further, sorry.
Why all the suffering? Where's God in all of this?
Well, suffering as a result of our own actions. Somehow I've done something. You know, if I had the full panorama of everything that's ever happened,
Scary.
I would understand exactly why that situation is happening to those particular individuals. Because then you can see the past, you can see the present, you can see the future, you can see the whole panorama, and that makes sense. And in fact, it's true, you know, when it's night, is the sun still shining? Yes, it's on. The problem is it's on the other side of the planet.
Very true.
And there is day on the other side of the world. It's the daytime, and here it's night. But it's not the sun has stopped shining because it's night. It's the same. So the sun is just shining away. We can come closer to it or go farther away from it by our own decisions. So all of this stuff happens in the darkness of ignorance. And it's actually an individual and a collective decision that something bad happens. It's not that God has sent it. You know, people think God makes the leaves move. But actually what makes the leaves move is the wind. It's not God there shaking the tree. That's what they used to think in the past.
Yeah.
He's making the trees shake. No. There are natural processes here that take care of those things. And one of the natural processes that takes care of things is called karma.
Yeah.
Action, reaction, whatever. If you are suffering, there's something that you had to do with that. It's not free.
So
I'm going to sent by God.
So I'm going to take my viewers to a level that might perplex them for the rest of the day, but hopefully liberate them.
Good.
So where does destiny play out in this? Because if I'm destined to find God, or Baba, as we call him here, then are those people destined to suffer? So can you help me to be clear on the relationship between destiny and karma, or the lack thereof relationship between destiny and karma?
Destiny is actually what you do now is pointing in a particular direction.
Love that.
That's the destination. Destiny is connected with destination. You set it off, right? So destiny is not something outside of us moving things, like the stars are moving us, or, you know, there's something external to us making things move. But no, we move from within ourselves. So when I make a decision, when I decide to do something, then I start the motions of setting up a future, which is a consequence of that. So everything that's happening in the present was destined because I did something or said something or thought something in the past. So now that's being fulfilled by the sorts of things that are happening around us now. But in the same way, if the past creates the present creates the future destination. Let's use that word rather than destiny. And my destination is just a consequence where my thoughts, words and actions, the collective sort of impact point in terms of the future. That's going to happen.
I like that, but my destiny is just pointing me in a direction. Sister Luciana, you were sharing about collective karma and collective and individual karmas with souls. How would you respond to this? Where's the connection between destiny and karma for you? Similar to Brother Ken?
I think that karma is very much connected with the seed. We know that karma means action. So whatever you do in terms of the movement of energy inside of you, it means an action through your thoughts, an action through your feelings, an action through your sense organs. This will determine the consequence of whatever you are going to receive. And I think that destiny, it's like Brother Ken said, the consequence of whatever you have created through your karma. But one thing that you said before, the world was not like it is today, always. So now we see that because of the inner side, the inner qualities of human beings are full of negativity, full of impurity. So we see that human beings are not taking the right decisions, and that's why the karma that they are creating are not of good quality, and also the destiny that they are experiencing is of suffering. It's all because of the clarity that it's inside of us. And one thing that is very important in terms of this relationship with God is that we need to have a spiritual power inside of us to be able to change these decisions and the actions that we take.
Love it.
Because many people say, I would like to be calm, I would like to be benevolent, but I keep having hate inside of my heart. Because it's not sufficient to want, it's not sufficient to desire. You have to have power inside of you to change. So
I love that.
That's why meditation is so interesting.
Yeah.
It's very useful because through meditation you get the power that you want to have a better life.
Very true, very true.
Can I show you
Well said.
something?
Yes, brother.
Probably very easily illustrates what we're talking about. Like if I throw this up in the air, it'll come back to me, right?
Yes, supposed to.
Suppose you don't throw it up and then it doesn't come. So this is a very simple principle of physics, right? Gravity, the law of gravity. And also action and reaction in a way. You throw it up, it probably comes back with the same force. Karma is like that, but different, because you say something, you think something, so there it goes.
It comes back.
It comes back to you, or you drop it. Or you do something, especially that's a bigger weight. But it can come back to you immediately. It can come back to you after an hour or a day or 10 years. It can also come back to you after many lives.
Lifetimes.
So there you are walking along, not worried about anything, and the thing comes back to you. And you think, my God, where did that come from? I didn't do anything. I never, but actually it's the return of something you thought or did or said.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you throw something out, it's going to come back to you sooner or later.
What a great point.
That's what destiny is.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it's hard to accept because I don't want to suffer, and sometimes I'm not strong enough to do the right thing, to give love and receive love. But yet, something you said, Sister Luciana, the spiritual knowledge is important. As we come to a close of our time together, I would love if you could offer 1 or 2 steps that could help our fans and viewers to make a connection. Brother Ken.
I think you have to learn to introduce into your life pause. You have to learn between you and a reaction to something, you have to learn to introduce a short pause, even if it's a second pause. But just, train yourself between what happens and your response. To pause even for a second, a few seconds, to take into account the bigger picture. Don't see things through a narrow angle. Try to understand give people a past, give people a future, and not just see them in the present.
Yeah.
Then you can get along with anyone and do anything. And that's probably the most important step that we can introduce into our life.
Beautiful.
To pause, to remind yourself that you are a soul, you are playing your role, you're a child of God, you are, in fact, the essence of peace, love, and happiness. Train yourself to have that sort of pause between what's happened and what you're going to respond. And that's probably the best number 1 step you can take.
Love it. Sister Luciana.
I would say that at the moment I value very much to have self-love, because everything starts with you loving yourself. If you love yourself, you can give that pause to yourself. If you love yourself, you create positive thinking. If you love yourself, you would find time to meditate. If you love yourself, you would look for the places and the food and you know, the messages that will be bringing that love in your life. So if you don't love yourself, you're going to be wasting your time, your energy, and you will not be sustaining yourself. So my message would be about
Self-love.
love yourself.
I love that. That's so beautiful. Wow. Actually, I feel like I could talk to both of you for hours, but unfortunately, time is such a opportunity I don't call challenge. I'm sure for those of you who've been looking on today, you're going to want to replay this again and again to kind of get an idea of what you've just heard, because they're really very deep ideas and deep thoughts. So what I'd like us to do is, could we pause and hold a moment of peace for the nation? Can you do that for me? I'd just like us to just hover over the United States of America, and of course the world. The world is included, just for this place right now. Just this invitation for God's light to touch His children so they can be kind and loving and peaceful. I invite all of you to just hold a moment of pause. Emerge your self-love and allow that love from Baba, the Divine, to spread throughout the country and the world. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Breathe in and breathe out. All right. I think what we've heard from Brother Ken and Sister Luciana are priceless, and I think we should definitely follow through with it. I'd like to invite us for our awakened intelligence now to see how to remember the divine according to the Brahma Kumaris. Let's see if they have any common sense, as it does. So let's go through. According to the Brahma Kumaris, remembering the divine, often referred to as Shiv Baba or the Supreme Soul, is a foundational spiritual practice called Raj Yoga meditation. This remembrance is not ritualistic or emotional, but mental and soul conscious, aiming to establish a personal connection with God. Wow. This is AI, I can't believe it. Okay, number 1 point, become soul conscious. You'll read it through. Number 2, connect with Shiv Baba, the Supreme Soul, Allah, Khuda, God, Bhagwan, whatever name you want to call God. God is incorporeal, as Brother Ken shared, without a body, eternal, and the ocean of peace, love, purity, and power. And that's why Brother Ken was sharing, when he connects to that supreme power, he feels incorporeal without a body. Number 3, practice Raj Yoga meditation. Sit quietly and keep practicing to withdraw from these physical senses. Contemplate, I'm a peaceful soul, a child of the Supreme. Just when you play it back, read them through slowly. Number 4, keep God as your companion. Throughout the day, mentally talk to God, consult, share your thoughts. Sister Luciana said, He was my companion, my beloved, but also a guide. Number 5, clean the mind through remembrance. Remembrance burns past karmic accounts, and it purifies the soul, and that's why remembrance is most important. Number 6, daily Murli, listening and reflection, is our regular teachings, which we call the Murli. Number 7, use traffic control. It could be connected to Brother Ken's pause, but in the Brahma Kumaris, we set an alarm, and every hour in the hour we pause to remember Baba. Whether it's for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 3 minutes, it's up to you. Right? All right, so let's take a moment and enjoy the wonderful Sister Gita effect, and let's see what magical wisdom she's going to share with us today. Enjoy.
There is no nourishment of happiness. It's the nectar. There is no sickness. It's like a poison. Having been sorrowful for so long, the soul is now desperate for peace. There can be no real happiness until the soul finds its peace. Deep inner peace, the kind born of union with the divine, gives so much power. You forget about sorrow completely. There's only gratitude in the heart and so much joy. The experience of true happiness cures the sickness of sorrow. This is a remedy, not just to create happiness and joy in your own life, but for creating it in the world also. A cheerful face goes a long way towards thinking everything better. So, have a happy day. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Sister Gita. Thank you so much for your wisdom. So as we come to a close in our wonderful time together with Brother Ken of the Brahma Kumaris, the regional coordinator of Latin America, and Sister Luciana, the coordinator of Brazil, any closing remarks you'd like to share with our friends? A blessing. A blessing.
My blessing would be keep on progressing, moving on. Never give up. Never give up.
I love that. Brother Ken.
Nothing is bigger than you.
Love it. I live by that one. All right, everyone. Om Shanti. Hi, Sita. Sabita, welcome from the UN. I think they're coming to see you soon. Great clarity of complex issues, Sabita said. Hi, Wendy. Glad to have you on. Rakesh, deeply felt and deeply appreciated. You're welcome, Rakesh. Bye. Om Shanti. Morning, Sunil. Thank you, Raju. Ushaben, Amit. Nice to have you. Banu. Savi. Good to have you. Amita. Anju. Sarjit. Priya. Welcome. Salman. Salam alaikum. Sandeep. Hi. Prince Bari. Wow, I love having all the princes coming on. Often speaks about how silence can lead to moments of profound charity and inner clarity. Very good. Hi, Indu, Sunita Ben, Ankit, and Monica. This emphasizes on the profound insights that emerge when we embrace our inner quietude. So true, Monica. Lilawati, I hope your husband's doing much better. Lots and lots of love from all of us. And Angela, thank you. Thank you, Angie. Om Shanti. All right, Babita, Neha, Sunil, Suman, Saroj, Bhumika, all of you, Kiran, Kumal, all of you, good morning, Sandeep, whatever, Tulis Kumari, and Ed Henry. You know, being with us really means a lot, and I hope that you use these tools. Please use them. Okay? We just want you to be better because we want our lives to be better. All right, take care of yourself. Remember, no one can take away your happiness unless you give them permission. And I suspect we're here to love each other the same. Have a beautiful day. Om Shanti. Bye. Take care.